We all know Australia has kangaroos. We all know China has pandas. We all know the lions of Africa. But what about those animals that go under the radar? What about those animals that you wouldn't associate with that place? Animals so rare, only a handful of people see them. You may not know they are here, but they live among us. My name is Cookie, and this is Animal Anomalies UK, the Ring Necked Parakeet. What's going on, everyone? We're back with the second installment of Animal Anomalies. Thank you all for the response of the first one about scorpions. That was super cool to see, and I'm really glad that a lot of you liked that one. One comment I saw quite a lot on that first video was, is this going to be a series? And the short answer is yes, this will be a series. As this goes out, I'm currently filming the third one. But before we get ahead of ourselves though, this time we're after parrots in England. Out of all the animals I'm going to be in search of in this series, these guys are probably the most known about in the UK. That's not to downplay them, because they're relatively still pretty rare. But I do realise that to some of you watching, this won't be news to you at all. Now, there are roughly 350 different species of parrot in the world. You have big parrots, small parrots, super colourful parrots, and parrots that can't fly. Generally, parrots prefer warmer climates such as South America, Africa, or Australia. But lo and behold, these colourful little guys have made it in the UK and have settled down here now, becoming the UK's only naturalised parrot. Now, by pure fluke and coincidence, a few days after I posted the first instalment of this series, I was out playing cricket. I was stood fielding in the slips, ready for the bowler to run in, and I heard this loud, squawking, chirping noise above my head. So, I took a look up to the skies, and what did I see? Two parakeets flying above my head. This was in Coventry. Coventry Copsewood, to be precise. And that baffled me. I didn't think we had them in this country, and I definitely didn't think we had them here, flying wild and free in Coventry. So, I took to my computer to do some research. Turns out people are seeing them in Kenilworth too, specifically this park here. That's called Abbey Fields. To many of you watching, you won't know the significance of this place, but basically, I work in that building there. I work there, and there are parakeets there. There's about 50 metres. I work within about 50 metres of parakeets, and I've never known about it. I knew there was a woodpecker because I've heard it. I've never seen it, but I've heard it's there. Parakeets though? Like, what? Like, it seems like I might be the only person who didn't know about this. Like, because I've asked the people who I work with, and it seems common knowledge among them, and it's like, how did I not know? So I've been doing a little bit of research, and I've found a few things on Facebook. So first thing, Ed down the bottom here has spotted one in Abbey Fields, and he thinks it's escaped. Above that, James has taken two pictures of some parakeets also in Kenilworth. Both of those were last year though. Move it forward and we get this from Spotted Kenilworth from February this year. Two parakeets sitting high in the trees near the Abbey Fields lake. Right, so with that in mind then, and it being pretty much on my doorstep, we should go and have a look. So from the pictures I've seen, we seem to be in the right area. The lake is straight down there. We've got some trees around us, and we've got the old Abbey walls and stuff. So we're going to have a look around, going to have a little scout, and see what we can find. If we can find one today on our first go, that would be amazing. So we set out looking around Abbey Fields. After speaking to the guys inside the swimming centre, they told us of woodpeckers, sparrowhawks, peregrine falcons in the fields too, along with the parakeets. There seems to be an abundance of avian wildlife here. That ain't a parakeet. Right, so we've been here about half an hour now. We've had a look around. We've gone around the lake, looked in the trees and stuff. We can't see one, so we're going to resort to playing some sounds, parakeet calls, really. So I've got myself one here that I'm just going to play after this ad. So once we got the calls on, we sat there for a while in the hope that maybe a parakeet would hear the call and come pay us a visit. We've spoken to a family, just asked them about the parakeets, and they said they're here. Said in the last few weeks or so, they've seen them, which gives me a bit of hope. Whether or not today we'll see them, different question, but it's good to know that they're still here, they're still knocking about, and people are still seeing them, so that's pretty interesting. So we continued looking around the fields and lake. We didn't hear or see any sign of the parakeets in the time we were there, unfortunately, but I did get some nice drone shots of the surrounding area. So we haven't found one today. We've been looking for them but it's just not happened. We've spoken to people, they've said they're here, but I think we've just gotten lucky today. So what we're going to do, I'm going to try and contact someone who's a bit more professional, someone who knows more about parrots than me, and I'm going to see what they say, and if we can potentially find some in this country in a more densely populated area of parakeets that are known. So that is my next course of action. So I've just been lying here, I've done my research, I've found the person that I need to talk to. Now this guy, he's really impressive, and he's got this website and a society that he's a part of, well, he's the chairman of, so he's quite a big deal. He's got an extensive background, so it's going to be really interesting to talk to him. I've got a few hours until that happens, but I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully he can give me the key, he can give me the answer to where I can find these parakeets, and hopefully be able to film them for you guys, because obviously that Kenilworth trip, I thought I was going to see some, but it wasn't to be. They're definitely there. People are taking pictures of them. I've seen some bird watchers take some pictures and stuff, but I didn't get to find them. So I want to try and find a place that's like almost a guarantee. But we'll have to see. I'm just going to wait a couple hours now. We'll go straight to the interview. Can't wait. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. You are Alan Jones, the chairman of the Parrot Society UK, and also you're a retired avian veterinarian. So it's fair to say you're probably the right person to go to for these questions that I've got.
I would hope so, yes.
Basically, I'm after the ring necked parakeet. Where did they originate? Where could you mostly find them?
Ring necked parakeet comes really mostly from India, Indian foothills of the Himalayas. There are also a subspecies in Africa, and they are incredibly successful. They have spread further west naturally, but they've also been very popular in aviculture. People have kept them as either pet birds or aviary birds for decades, many decades. Some say that during the filming of The African Queen back in 1950s, they were escaped or were released from the film studios in Isleworth. Also, Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy or Jimi Hendrix, they were supposedly kept these parakeets and also released them either deliberately or accidentally. These stories do the rounds, but they're not convinced that they are actually true. The likelihood is that most of them have escaped from aviary collections in people's back gardens in major storms, and a lot definitely got out in the major storm of October 1987. Back in 1930 and again in 1952, we had quite major outbreaks of a disease called parrot fever, which is a very unpleasant, potentially fatal disease in people. And this obviously alarmed people, like the avian flu outbreak did a few years ago. So people that kept parrots at the time just let them go.
Where is the best chance for me to potentially go and see one in this country?
They are prevalent in the big parks in London, Hyde Park and Regent's Park. They exist, they live in the trees there, they built up quite large populations. And because they are in a public park which is frequented by a lot of people, they've got used to people, and they will come down and actually feed from your hand, take stuff from your hand.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I think that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to head down to London and I'll have a go at that.
If I may put in a plug, the Parrot Society UK.org, and there is an article about these free-living ring-necked parakeets on that website.
Lovely.
But yeah, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and I hope you find something in the park.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. We're going to London. We got ourselves to London, had a look at BTEC Ben and the wheel thing, which was pretty rubbish, so we cracked on to the main activity of locating some parrots in the park. Hopped off the tube at Paddington, short walk to Hyde Park, and then it was about recollecting what Alan had told us. We're going to head down this way, and we should find a Peter Pan statue, and once we found that, just a little bit further on is where we should be able to see some parakeets, but who knows? Let's go and have a look, shall we? There's Mr. Peter Pan. This is the lake, literally opposite Peter Pan, and it didn't say anything about parakeets, so I don't know. It didn't say anything about pigeons, so maybe it's just birds of the water. But greeted.
Pigeons.
You're not a parakeet. So just a bit further on from here, we were told we would see them, and guess what? I can hear them. Can you?
Yeah.
I've just seen one. There's so many. Right, well, this is absolutely mad. We've literally just turned a corner after the Peter Pan statue. There's parakeets everywhere. There's people feeding them with apples. So we've just gone and got ourselves an apple, and I'm gonna have my own go now. No, look good. That ain't a parakeet. See him? He's eating the apple. And there we have it. Parakeets are wild and free in England. England has its very own parrot. How cool is this? Something I'd never associated with this country whatsoever, but turns out they're here and in their thousands. Not only can you see them, but you can also do this. So this is actually probably one of the easiest things we're going to find in this country, but it's mad. There's a parakeet on my hand eating an apple, and we're in London. They shouldn't be here. They're here. How cool is that? Like, so if you guys want to do this, literally get yourself down to Hyde Park, Kensington Park, next to the Peter Pan statue, just a bit further on, and you will meet these little guys, and you can just have them eat off your hand. It's great. Come on, fella. That's actually a lady. You can tell because the ring necks. If they have a little black and rose ring around their neck, that's that's a male. And this one, there's no ring around the neck, and this is a female. You see and tell the wasp off. So if you do go and do this, it might be better to take seeds and stuff. Apples are alright, but you'll get swarmed by wasps, and if that isn't your thing, you'll definitely be wanting seeds. I think it's a well-known thing down in London, as where we were was quite busy pretty much the whole time we were there. I did, however, try and get away a little bit so I could get a better, quieter look to myself. Well, fortune favours the brave. Hello. For those. And to think really, these birds, you can find them pretty much, I would say, all over the UK. But this is like the biggest congregation you're going to find in England. I'm in full control here. Whee! So what's this like?
Pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah.
When was the last time you had a parrot in your hand in the wild?
Australia.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
To think this is in the UK as well. This is so
And they're so
weird.
friendly to people as well. They're not timid at all.
No, not bothered. He's eating the seeds. He's having a great time.
I think we should give her a name. Let's call her Heidi. Heidi in Hyde Park.
Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you, Heidi, for being in our film.
Wow, what a pretty photo this is going to be.
You're being sarcastic.
No. So one thing about parakeets in Britain, in the UK, they're legally classed as pests. So which means if you want to get rid of them, you can. You can shoot them. You can do other things necessary to get rid of so-called pests in this country, which is it's a really big shame. You see all these people around here. They don't want to shoot them. Like, they're a little, almost like a tourist hotspot for people to come, wave an apple around, wave some seeds around. And it's really entertaining for people, and it's great for kids like growing up and stuff to see these animals up close. Whereas they shouldn't be in this country, shouldn't really get the opportunity, but we've got it. Why do you want to kill them? And on that note, I think that brings us to the end of this episode of Animal Anomalies. What a beautiful creature to have found residing on our shores. If you're lucky enough to see one, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video, and if you're new, subscribe for more Animal Anomalies coming soon. Also, if you know of an animal that shouldn't be in this country, you can find my email address in the description down below. Shoot me an email and we'll see what we can do. So, thank you all for watching Animal Anomalies Part 2. See you in the next one. Is that nice?